Good morning. My name is Kazım, and today I'm going to be your IELTS examiner. Could you tell me your full name, please?
Yeah, my first name is Humayun. My last name is Rasha Mirzai, but you can call me by my first name, Humayun.
Could you tell me where you're from?
Yeah, I'm from Tashkent, which is a hustle and bustle city.
Can I see your identification card, please?
Yeah, sure. Here you go.
Okay. Thank you. Now, in this first part, I'd like to ask you some questions about yourself. Let's talk about where you live. Could you describe the area where you're from?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, my city in hustle and bustle and contemporary and ancient as well.
Are there any disadvantages in living in that area?
Yeah, I think in as well as other countries, we have lots of problems in my hometown, like traffic jams, roads, environmental damage as well.
Right. How long have you lived in that area?
Since I'm born, I live around like 17 years here.
Would you recommend living in this area to others?
Yeah, without a doubt, I will suggest everybody to live here because you know, we have lots of lovely persons, friendly environment, and yeah, but we have lots of places to hang out.
Thank you. Now let's talk about your studies. Which university or school are you studying at?
Well, frankly speaking, I'm a senior at school, but now I'm not going there, and probably after like 1 or 2 years I will probably study in foreign countries like America.
Which courses are you studying?
Well, I'm passionate about English. I'm learning English like in the span of the 5 years.
Why did you select this course?
Well, as you probably know, like 70% of the information in the digital world is in English. So I think, and my parents thought that would be great if I'm gonna learn this subject, and I think it's gonna be helpful to my future job as well.
Do you have to travel far to your school each day?
As I mentioned before, now I'm not going there, but if my memory serves me right, like it used to take around 15 minutes to get there.
Thank you. Now let's talk about cooking. Who normally does the cooking in your house?
To be honest, my mother, big fan of cooking. Yeah, she's passionate about that, and she is spending lots of time there. And sometimes my father helps her, like once in a blue moon.
Do you think it's important to share the cooking duties?
I think yeah. I don't think so. That's not good to share. Like,
Why? Why do you think that it's important?
like in order to help someone, how to cook. I mean, how to teach them how to cook.
Right.
And yeah.
Do you enjoy cooking?
Tell the truth, not. I'm not into. And moreover, I don't have a free time to the cooking because of my studies.
Do you think you will cook more in the future?
Yeah, I think so. Because as I mentioned before, like it's gonna take around 2 years to study in foreign countries. So I'm probably gonna cook every day, like 3 times a day, in order to save my money.
Cool. Now I'm going to give you a topic, and I'd like you to talk about it for 1 or 2 minutes. Before you talk, you'll have 1 minute to think about it. You can make some notes if you wish. Do you understand?
Yep.
So I want you to describe a newspaper or magazine which you read.
Okay.
Okay. I'll provide you with a question. Here's the question, and here's a piece of paper and a pen. You have 1 minute to prepare.
Can I prepare?
Yes. Time's up. Remember, you have 1 to 2 minutes. Don't worry if I stop you.
Okay.
If you're ready, you may start speaking now.
Well, frankly speaking, I'm actually a big fan of reading some books, newspapers, and on the one word, I'm bookworm person. And but here I'd like to talk about the one of the particular magazine that I read 2 days ago, if I'm not mistaken. Well, a friend of mine suggested me to read that magazine, and we went to purchase that magazine. Like, it was cheap as it chips, and we spent around like 1 hour to reading to this newspaper, and it was about focus, how to pay, how to work, how to study with a 100% focus, and that was really useful. I learned tons of the things, like how to eliminate distractions in order to achieve something. And after that, we, as I mentioned before, we debate a lot with him, and I decided to share our experiences with others, with my parents, and I think that it's really crucial to be focused on something, because in order to achieve something, and as you probably know, success is not accident, and we need to work hard as much as possible. And I think that was great to have such kind of useful information.
Would you recommend this magazine to others?
Yeah, without a doubt. As I mentioned before, I shared this to my familiars, to my friends, and that's going to be really useful, and it will improve your productivity.
Do you have much time to read?
Well, yeah. If you remember, I told that I'm studying, and I'm not going to school. So for that reason, I have tons of the times to read, to study, to work.
We've been talking about a magazine which you've read recently. Now I'd like to discuss with you 1 or 2 more general questions related to this. Let's consider first the topic of media. Before I ask you questions, I want to get the piece of paper and pencil back. Mind. Okay. How have the ways people access the media changed in your country over the last decade?
Well, tell the truth, like, it has been changed dramatically, I guess, because some people say that it's outdated way to getting some information, and I think nowadays it's more convenient to get some information from the digital world, and you know, you will save your money, you will save your time as well. And on the other hand, people in my country, like older people, don't know how to use some techniques. So for that reason, I think that they purchase some newspapers.
The issue of internet-based music and video piracy has become critical. What do you think can be done about this problem?
Could you paraphrase that question?
Nowadays, a lot of people are downloading music from internet, and the piracy of videos has become a critical point. How do you think it can be changed?
Do you mean that it's been violent?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think that lots of people are actually big fan of music. They're passionate about that, and me either. And some rappers, some singers are doing some videos like violent, and I think just government should look through, pay attention to this, because you know, young children, youngsters might look, and they can came across to the adults. So in order to not children, in order to not give the wrong information to the children, we need to, government needs to pay attention to this.
Mm-hmm. As electronic media becomes more and more accessible, more forms of printed media are disappearing.
Yeah.
Do you consider this to be a positive or negative trend?
Well, I think that everything has pros and cons, so this situation as well has pros and cons. I think that's good. You know, as I mentioned before, it's actually outdated way to get some information from that, and in order to save some trees as well, I think that's significant to do that. And youngsters in my country doesn't purchase any media. I mean, any newspapers in order to get information.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about the role of the media in your country. What type of responsibility, if any, do you believe the media has to the general public?
As to what?
What type of responsibility, if any, do you believe the media has to the general public?
Yeah, without a doubt, because as you probably know, everybody has gadgets. Even a child has gadgets, so I think the media has significant influence, impact to the citizens, to the habitats. And I think that before putting some information to the adults, they need to think a lot before doing that, because they might impact wrongly to the habitats.
Some people think that the media is highly influential in spreading new ideas and trends. What's your opinion?
Yeah, I agree with that. Same here, because internet is one of the speediest. They actually spread the information speedily, as much as quick as possible. So I think that is somehow bad and good, because you can get information fastly, and for me it's really useful, because I'm studying and I need to know some kind of information what's going on the world, and I think it's positive experience.
How do you think the role of media might change in the future?
Well, even now it's like impacting to the country, to the citizens, and I think nothing gonna change, because already changed it, I think, in my eyes, and but in the span of the 10 years, like, I think nobody gonna use any kind of paper, because everybody, even lots of friends of mine are reading some books with using their phones, like PDF. Electronic books, and in my eyes, that's gonna change dramatically.
Thank you. That's the end of our speaking test.